Oh no, bad news for Tyson Fury. The walls are now closing in. Tyson Fury all over the place. Stay tuned. We'll talk about everything in this video. Yo, what up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Before I get started, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I drop the best content in all of boxing. Get your boxing news here, views. We have fun on the channel. Now, a big fight that I'm looking forward to, Deontay, the Bronze Bomber Wilder, from Tuscaloosa, Alabama to this day versus Tyson Fury, should be a big one. But in the words of one of my favorite fighters of all time, Roy Jones Jr., y'all must have forgot. And it's time that I remind y'all. So Tyson Fury just did a recent interview, and Tyson Fury said some things that I have to go over because a lot of people want to brush it over, sweep it under the rug. But I've been doing boxing coverage for several years, and what old media has allowed Tyson Fury to get away with is second to none. He's able to seemingly say anything that comes and pops up in his head. He's constantly lying or contradicting himself. And there's always forgiveness when Tyson Fury is doing these things. And it's crazy. And to me, it really makes no sense. So I got to address the situation and call the game as I see it. So let's look at his very recent interview. Tyson Fury says, and I quote, Tyson Fury on the Deontay Wilder arbitration. Wilder, his contract expired because of Rona. But to be honest, fair is fair. This is what Tyson Fury is now saying. Keep that in mind. We're going to come back to that. Fair is fair. So regarding the third trilogy fight that is happening after several Fury delays, he's now saying the contract expired because of the Rona. But to be honest, now he's deciding honesty is the best policy. Fair is fair. If the shoe was on the other foot, I'd want my third fight. Oh man, because it wasn't my fault or Deontay Wilder's fault. Just the world got turned on its head. So remember these statements so I can show you how Tyson Fury is constantly contradicting himself and all over the place. So just so we're clear, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. He says Wilder, his contract expired because of Rona 19 pandemic. But to be honest, fair is fair. If the shoe was on the other foot, then I too would want a third fight because it wasn't my fault nor Deontay Wilder's fault. Just the world got turned on his head. Ironically, Ego Stradamus strikes again, and this is what I told you. Now, you guys will see Tyson Fury has moved on from Deontay Wilder, right? You see it, and I've highlighted it for you. And this is what Tyson Fury previously said regarding that fight. He says, I was looking forward to smashing. He was looking forward to smashing Deontay Wilder up, right? There's a better view for you guys. I was looking forward to smashing Wilder again, a quick and easy fight. But Wilder and his team were messing around with the date. Look at what he's saying now. See, that's I told you guys, you got to pay attention. That's why you might as well subscribe to my channel. I have the best boxing content, accurate, reliable. We have fun, and you're going to get the information you need. So it's looking bad for Tyson Fury. He says, I was looking forward to smashing Wilder again. A quick and easy fight, Fury said. But Wilder and his team were messing around with the date. They don't really want to fight the lineal heavyweight champion. They know how it ends. So he proclaimed to the whole world that Wilder was basically ducking him because he knows how the fight ends. The world knows how it will end with Wilder on his butt again. But fast forward to the future, he just told you that the Rona, he says his contract expired because of the Rona and it wasn't his fault. And I'll highlight that for you so you guys can see. Because it wasn't my fault or Wilder's fault. Fair is fair. I would want a trilogy fight. But this is, again, the same man who ran from the trilogy fight. And it's one thing to do things like run from the fight, but the deception to lie to your own fan base and not only run from the fight, but to proclaim that the other person was afraid of you, I think that's pretty low. That's pretty low, y'all. Because he tried to evoke panic and make his fan base believe that Wilder was somehow afraid of fighting him, ducking him, and the great ego Stradamus strikes again. I told you that wasn't the case. He's now fessing up. He's backed up into a corner. He's given about every little excuse that you can do to try to get out the fight, to no avail. None of these things worked. Like saying, it says Tyson Fury has moved on from Deontay Wilder. You guys see it, right? So he tried everything under the sun to get out of this fight. This article also talks about how he was going to move on. Like, it's so bizarre that Fury's behavior seems to be accepted with old media. It's really strange, right? So he says, I'm the best fighter in the world. The Fury said the fight was supposed to happen in July, but Wilder claimed an injury. So once again, he's blaming Wilder. He said Wilder had an injury and he pushed the date back. He just told you it wasn't Wilder's fault. Oh man. This is the great thing about the internet. So on multiple occasions, he's blaming Wilder and saying Wilder caused all the delays, all the hangups. He blamed it and said Wilder didn't want it because he knows how it ends. Then he said Wilder claimed an injury and that pushed the date back. And he said, then they asked me if I would agree to push it back to December. I agreed to December 19th, Fury said. Quote, then they tried to change the date again into next year, and I've been training, I'm ready. When they tried moving off of the December 19th date and pushing it to next year, enough was enough. I've moved on. So basically, Fury got impatient because he was in a pandemic and he can't seem to sit still, right? He can't seem to sit still. So he got impatient. Then he blamed it on Wilder and he tried to move on, right? He said Fury continued that he would let Wilder win a few fights before knocking him out, blah, blah, blah. And here's the more of the deception. Fury will now look to return December 5th in the UK homecoming bout after 3 consecutive fights in the US, according to sources, opponent. And he later came out and said that wasn't the case. So he tried to run and fight Carlos Takam. Then he switched and said he was going to fight Ajit Caballel. Then he said he was going to fight Anthony Joshua, Exhibit A. We got everything, people. We got everything. I got everything you need to see right here, right? Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury signed deal for Undisputed, which we find out was a lie and cap, right? So he tried everything under the sun to get away from this man Wilder, but through it all, Deontay Wilder persists. All this talk about Anthony Joshua or other people like Ajit Caballel, guys like Carlos Takam, these fights didn't actually manifest. And now he's stuck fighting Deontay Wilder, and he literally has no excuse to not fight Deontay Wilder, right? I can't wait for this fight, people. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. In addition, Tyson Fury says his team said there was no legal recourse for Wilder. Then this happened. Arbitrator rules that Deontay Wilder is entitled to the third fight with Tyson Fury. So in closing, to wrap and bring this all home and bring it all together for you, Tyson Fury is now admitting what I told you from the beginning. And had he just stayed at course, because listen, he just said in this article, he said, I'm ready to fight. I've been training. Enough is enough. I moved on. right? They keep moving the dates. But he got impatient, and at the end of the day, he said he didn't want to wait until next year, which is this year, 2021. But in the end, he had to wait. He had to wait no matter what, because he was in court with Wilder. So kudos to Wilder's legal team. I think they played it really smart. They did exactly what they were supposed to do for their fighter. Wilder says he's looking for vengeance, and they went about it the right way. I can't say the same for Tyson Fury. As I've showed you in this video, Tyson Fury is all over the place with what he said. Hopefully you guys liked the video. Stay tuned to the channel, subscribe, like the video, share the video. I got a lot of new content that I'll be working on, so make sure you guys check that out. Use my link in the description to get TUBEBUDDY. Peace. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TUBEBUDDY. I've used TUBEBUDDY for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TUBEBUDDY is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TUBEBUDDY and level up your channel faster.